Hello everybody, welcome back, good morning. Let's have a look at some of these charts. So, I noticed that, the last few days been quite a lot of unrest in the YouTube comments. Obviously, people on the Telegram, they get it, they understand. For the most part, most people on YouTube that watch me, they understand as well. But I think the use of the word Altseason, it really upsets a lot of people. And this is not uncommon. So, I'll explain to you what it is, and maybe we can think of a different word. If it's too triggering, it's too triggering of a word. Let's think of another word to explain the outperformance of altcoins generally versus their Bitcoin pair. It's just it's for the sake of ease, isn't it? Really, it's like shorthand. Alt season or a period of economic prosper on altcoins versus their Bitcoin counterpart. I don't know how else to. So I'll just show you what it is that I've been looking at and why I've been saying it. It's not saying it for hopium, not saying it for views even. I'm saying it because I wake up in the morning, look at any kind of chart that is worthy of trading, look at some sort of market direction, look for some kind of shift in the market to maybe not just make a day trade, but a big swing, which I think is round the corner, to be honest. But at the end of the day, nobody really knows. And I make these videos really. My YouTube channel, as you can tell, is like pretty low end, and the pretty poor production value. I don't really put too much effort into it, if any effort at all. It's just me recording my thoughts in the morning before I decide to either enter or not enter any kind of trades. So obviously this is your Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the 4-hourly, downtrending, continuously breaking through supports and getting rejected around the centre of a Bollinger Band and continuing to go down. We do have bullish divergence on the 4-hourly, which sometimes suggests a turning around of momentum. The fear and greed index is still in the low teens, which is obviously usually a good sign. And again, it's that fear that it seems to sort of permeate the comment section. And I get it. I've been around several cycles. This is probably getting close now to my 10th year in crypto. So it's not, none of this is like crazy to me. This is all just part of the game. So we're looking at Bitcoin here on the daily, which is not really showing any real signs of letting up. So it's the 4-hour that is. The daily is kind of slowing down, but not really at any kind of level of support that you'd trust. And the bullish divergence still exists. The hidden bullish divergence still exists on the Bitcoin pair. But, the reason I've been talking about a period of altcoin gain versus the Bitcoin counterpart, if that makes it sound a bit more palatable for some, was based around this. So over the last couple of weeks, so we're talking 2 weeks now, 2 weeks worth, right? 2 weeks worth of potential rejection for the dominance chart. So we got this initial one, didn't we? So back here, June, it's talking about, okay, now, altcoins should outperform based on this chart. They have. It depends on what you were in, whether it's XRP, BNB. There's been quite a few that have outperformed Bitcoin, and quite a few that we've made some decent money on, right? But when we're talking about the entire market, every single thing, or should I say the things that you, angry comment warrior, are holding, I would assume that perhaps maybe yours didn't move throughout that period. Anyway, we finally found these lows, and we've crept up on the dominance chart. It's weak, but it crept up, and we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks in a row of green candles. Although they're not huge, 8 weeks in a row, and again, 8 weeks of small increment moves up towards a 20 and a 21 exponential moving average. The Bollinger Band Center, the most obvious place for a pullback. So that's just your weekly, right? So if we move to a daily, what do we see? We see death crosses. Again, this is all bearish. Okay, so again, there's your first initial move, making money on altcoins, I should say, and then sort of found a level around here and crept up into a death cross. Rejected at the bottom of this resistance box and continuing to move down. Again, bearish chart, death cross, simples, death cross exponential. It's a bearish chart, right? And then you move over to the 4 hourly. What do you see? You see fresh death crosses as well, which was recently retested instantly, and you see moves down. So this all suggests altcoin outperformance versus their Bitcoin pair. Okay, so that's the reason I speak of it, is because obviously we benefited initially from this run, and then we've been waiting for this consolidation to end, to which it has. And so now sniping positions, even in this market where, considering there might be a bear market, it's still plausible that altcoins will outperform. Now, members of the Patreon, we'll be we'll be doing a live stream tonight. Obviously we look at a lot of altcoins, for that time that we're together in the evenings. But there's a few that have rung out as relatively happy. Obviously, we've all benefited from Zcash. I haven't made a video on Zcash in about 18 months, but the idea that, I have made videos on Zcash and I've expected them to do a 1,000 or more % pump, and that has happened. Same thing with XRP. We managed to get that pump right on the nose, made loads of money out of that one. So there's money in altcoins, right? And these altcoins I will show you, not Zcash, because that's done now. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's done. It could easily keep going up, but you don't want to be FOMOing into something like that. So we look at new ones, right? But just from an XRP perspective, right? Moving over to the weekly, I talked about this rounded bottom. I spoke about this. We've got this. This is a bullish weekly. And if you're talking about like outperformance versus a Bitcoin pair, by XRP down here, you would have made 400%. Versus its Bitcoin pair, and still up. I should add, this isn't a bad chart. This is the first golden cross this chart has ever had on a weekly ever. And with that, we're looking at a change of behaviour, and the behaviour has changed, and we're continuing to move up. And my expectation is that this will continue to move up once we've reclaimed these areas, 2,500 sats. Moving over to a daily, again, there's reason to be bullish on it. It doesn't have to work, but there is a reason to believe that this trend signal on the Ichimoku cloud, which is basically a cross above the cloud, price above the cloud, Chiku span above price, will actually materialize into a continuous uptrend. It doesn't have to, but these are signals. So we've got golden crosses on a weekly, we've got trend signals on a daily. We're kind of bullish on this chart. And then moving over to the 4 hourly, fresh golden cross, which is being retested and supported on. So look, I mean, I'm not talking a sweeping statement. Everybody moves up, party time, rah rah rah. I'm saying let's find out whether it's okay to be in cash, Bitcoin, or altcoins. What is the best way to manage this period of the market? Considering the dominance chart is moving down and looks like it wants to continue to move down, wouldn't it be right to find the charts that are moving up? Finding supports on the way up with either bullish divergence, golden crosses, trend signals, pump signals on the Ichi cloud, all these sort of things, Because at the end of the day, this is how I make my living, right? And the best way to do it is to get up nice and early in the morning and see if you can hunt a position. That's why I do it this time of the day. In fact, this is a bit later than I'd usually like to do it. The best time really is to get up, if you can get yourself out of bed, Greenwich Mean Time, about 6 in the morning, between 6 and half 6, and have a look at what's happened overnight. As the dust continues to settle, you might find yourself a trade. Anyway, there's your evidence for XRP and the dominance chart. But if anyone, the members of the Patreon will have seen over the last week or two, there is a few that I do quite favour above others. Probably going on for a few weeks on this one. XVG, and again, if you're part of the Telegram, you'll have seen me. You'll be bored of me putting my my futures positions on there. But look, this has been bullish for quite a little while now. This one, and again, this is XVG versus its Bitcoin pair. Just on a 4 hourly, you can see it's a choppy yet sustained uptrend. Currently up 137% from the lows. Versus Bitcoin, so it's doubled in price. And you put one Bitcoin in this, by now you'd have 2 Bitcoins. Do you know what I mean? This is a chart that I really like. This is just a 4 hourly golden cross retest, wobbly, golden cross retest, up. You know, I'm not saying this is going to go up forever. Nothing ever will. But same thing on the daily here. So up, big move up, down, golden cross, up, up, up. Having a great time. There is a lot of bearish divergence on it right now. So, you know, the time to be involved in XVG will have passed for now. You have to wait for the next low to form. But these are the reasons I talk about it. The word Altseason, you know, I'm benefiting from this Altseason, okay, because these charts are uptrends versus Bitcoin, right? It's the definition of that word. I think because the market is so saturated for altcoins, it might be why most altcoins are not moving, and it might just be why certain ones are moving, which is why it's important to look at the individual altcoin and not just the overall. So we get the dominance chart gives us a blanket overview of the overall, but as we've come to realize, this entire market, that actually it's only the strong that benefit, and if you're not in the strong, you'll be in the weak, and if you're in the weak, you'll be in the red, and you will not be happy, and you'll end up going onto my YouTube account and try to upset me. Anyway, so there you go, XVG. Now, again, I'm not pointing these out as things you should buy or anything, but the next one, the one that I'm particularly excited about, and the one that is going to fall on deaf ears because it's so boring, is Litecoin versus its Bitcoin pair. Again, just to put the point across that there's something going on here. So rounded bottom, scraping off a low down here around 800 sats. So we're currently up a measly 32%. Hang on a minute, we're up. That's right, we're up. We're up versus our Bitcoin pair. That's right. We've got an incoming golden cross on exponentials, a confirmed golden cross on simples. This is just versus its Bitcoin pair. This is an uptrend forming and strengthening based on the daily. We're above all moving averages, giving you supports down here at 9.7 sats and down here towards 9.20 sats. So that would be if we move down. What? It's moving down. That's not up. Moving down into supports. That's where you think about entering for, again, the next leg up for this particular chart, right? And we've got golden crosses on the 4 hourly as well, 950, and, well, basically the same sort of place, isn't it, 917. So confluence across 2 time frames there of bullish charts. So I'm enjoying that. I do like that. It looks good, that one, doesn't it? I like it. So obviously moving over to the weekly, we're above all moving averages also. So I'll take that as something that's looking to turn around and move up. So again, I'm not pointing out every single coin I can think of that I've entered, but I've entered quite a lot over the last few days. Most of them still green, and most of them pointing to further upside. Now, it doesn't mean that by the end of today you'll be a millionaire. It doesn't mean that at all. We're just trying to beat the market, just trying to make money here, right? It's not about being right. It's about making money. And just by the very definition of being able to make a video, you can tell that I've paid the electric bill. The lights are on at my house. I'm not broke here. It's all working still. It's all working still. It's not an easy market. It's not. But, you know, if you're in the right stuff and you're careful enough, you will be able to make money as well. Right. We'll just look at my new favourite pet, which again was brought to me on the Patreon. This is one that I'm quite interested in. I alluded to it yesterday, actually, a chart that I'm interested in. I want it to come down. That's right, I do want it to come down, so it can move into a more attractive entry point. Moving down is not bullish, man. Moving down is bearish. Yes, it's bearish until it moves back up again, and we want it to move back down again. I mean, look, here is a very nice uptrend. Let's just think about that. Okay, what happened here? 118%. So if we're talking about the word Altseason or altcoin outperformance of a Bitcoin counterpart, or however you like it to land, right? Whatever you want me to say, to describe what it is that we're looking at here, a 118% move. You know, that is the first leg up of a potential outperformance of altcoins versus their Bitcoin counterpart, or Altseason, or whatever you want to call it. And so, after a move like that, a pullback is also required because that type of move is not quite normal, and now we're down 29%. Big moves up, big moves down, big moves up, big moves down. This is how outperformance of altcoins versus their Bitcoin counterparts begin. This is very common. It's very common. And also, it's very common to take place as Bitcoin finds a peak in the market, consolidates. That's common also. And also, it's very common to have very upset people likely selling the lows, likely calling for continuation down, and not recognizing or not feeling comfortable, should I say, buying a higher low, which is what we're looking at here. What we're anticipating is a higher low. A low, high, and a higher low. And the higher low in this case could give you the golden cross here at 693 and down here at $6.43. Sorry, $6.46. A box of support, which means that it could get supported anywhere from between the top to the bottom, and with that understanding, you have to decide whether you go for the top or the bottom or the middle or little bits throughout, right? So I'm enjoying the idea that this higher low will be formed around here, and I will enter. Now, I have tried entering it already, and actually I am already in a small position on this one, futures position, which I have posted on the Telegram for everyone to see. Now, if it comes down further, I will be stopped out, but then I will also enter again at these lower zones. This is what trading is about, right? It's not about getting, just because you look at it like this. You watch this video doesn't mean that by the second the video has ended, it automatically comes true and zooms all the way up to the top. We're talking mostly between 4-hourly, daily, and weekly time frames here. If I present a video that's based around a weekly time frame, you probably might have to wait weeks or maybe even more, over a month, for that analysis to start to materialize. Now, even if it's on a 4-hourly, you might not see any sort of movement within a few days. Daily, again, extend that expectation out a little bit further. So you got to understand that I'm not trading a 5-minute time frames on a live stream here where you can all sit and press buttons and benefit from it immediately. No, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. I'm waking up in the morning and I'm presenting to you what I see, giving you an idea of what I think is going to happen, not just throughout the day, but over the next few days, potentially the next few weeks. And I stand with what I say. So again, this is just one more example of a chart which has gone low, higher high, and we're looking to find that higher low in order to benefit from the next higher high. So again, I understand when people get upset, and I understand a lot of people can't recognize these sort of market trends. I get it, because a lot of people are not profiting from this market at all. And look, I've made a few mistakes here and there. Do you know what I mean? Some of my hodls have not worked out. Algorand not worked out as of yet. Atom not looking particularly happy, although that is a different story for me. That was a 10-year hodl that I've got set up there, staking on Swiss Borg. So I'm not particularly bothered about that in the short term. You have to revisit that in about 10 years for me, and then decide whether or not it's worked. But the majority has, and with that, I just need, you've got to have perspective, right? The majority of the BNB that I've got here on this absolutely amazing chart. So let's just think about what it is we're looking at. So I am not disappointed with this chart in any way, because if anyone knows my channel, you'll know that I was earning about between 2 and 3 BNB every single day for a period of 3 months down here doing bot trading. And then ever since, it's basically just lived the absolute dream. So let's just say this is the rough area. And again, I'm being generous here. I'm saying it's 50. It was more in the 20s and 30s. So all the BNB that I earned throughout that period, apart from the stuff that I sold on the initial run up, again, because I need the money, like to trade, I need to sell, but I still have a vast majority of BNB that was earned throughout that period, still up 1,600%. This has been a very good bull market for me. The majority of my BNBs were basically handed to me for free, between 2 or 3 a day, just bot trading every single day for about 3 months, hundreds of BNB. It's all on my YouTube channel for you to view. You can see it all there. I was getting between 2 and 3 every single day. Made videos about it. It was the $1,000 to $50,000 bot trading journey that I did. It's all there for you to see. And just sitting back and chilling. Same thing with Bitcoin, same thing with XRP, same thing with Ethereum. You know, it's been a very decent bull market for me, and it continues to be that way. And I don't see any reason right this very moment to believe that it's going to come crashing back down to make me like feel the same way that you guys feel. Anyway, it's quite a long video, but I do urge, if you want to join the Patreon, there's links in the description below for that. We're doing a live stream tonight, and we will look at altcoins, and I am bullish on some, and I am not bullish on some, and some I am completely undecided about, and this is where we start to dig deeper into all of that, and I will say it. But again, these morning videos that I make, yeah, they have upset a few people, but it's not me, and it's not the charts that I'm looking at. It's most likely your portfolio and your choices that has made you upset in that way. The language I use, Altseason, or continuous outperformance of altcoins versus their Bitcoin counterpart, whichever you prefer me to say, it's the way that the charts present is why I say that. The dominance chart presents that way. Certain altcoins that I've shown you present that way. These are the altcoins which I have been entering, and these are the altcoins that I am currently benefiting from. So for me, my language, my interpretation of the charts, generally speaking, I feel is appropriate. But at the same time, I understand where you're coming from. I just would like you to at least recognize where I'm coming from. This isn't me trying to sell a video to anybody or do anything. It's just me explaining what it is that I see, why I'm going in on these charts, what I'm generally expecting as a result of this market presenting in a particular way. That's it. Anyway, it's a very long video. If you made it to the end, please let me know. If you haven't, let me know as well by not commenting. Right, thanks for watching. Take it easy.